Uh-oh. Ah, ah, ah. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
Well, that's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a home improvement podcast. My name is Ariel, my co-host Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Adam. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Long time no talk.
Yeah, we had to double up on episodes, so I've missed you.
Yeah, I missed you. I missed you too, man.
Yeah, we both were on a little vacation. We don't want to talk too much about, but I was in Michigan.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this.
You have to talk about yours at least a little bit.
I don't know if you know this, but Home Improvement
Yeah.
was based in Michigan. Did you know that?
Oh, I've heard rumblings of such. I've often speculated because the show definitely doesn't lean into that or mention it very.
Never.
It's kind of nuanced. So yeah, I've sort of thought that over the years, but never really was clear.
A word that has never been used to describe Home Improvement was nuanced, I think.
Subtle.
So yes, I was in Michigan for about 5 days, and we made a trip down to Ferndale to see my brother.
Yeah.
And
And for people that don't know, Ferndale is like a suburb of
I was
Detroit.
right next to Royal Oak.
Yeah, it's right next to Royal Oak, so very close to...
Which is where the Taylor household is.
The hypothetical location of the Taylor house. Carry on.
So I was driving down Woodward Avenue.
Whoa! I mean, pause. Did you get rear-ended, or did someone rear-end you? And was it ZTV?
Both.
Okay.
I was just going by, restaurant after restaurant. There was, pizza place, Como's Pizza. There was all these other places, and I was just like, where did Brad get rear-ended? That's just, I'm just wondering, and I never really got an answer. You know how sometimes you go to, famous places, they put up a plaque, says, Brad Taylor was here. Didn't have one of those that I saw.
Sometimes when someone dies, they also put up a small cross alongside the road. He didn't die, so that was not going to be there.
He was in that gray area.
Yeah, it was sort of in that gray area between commemoration and death. Kind of the place I want to be.
But yeah, as I was driving through, I saw a big Royal Oak sign, and I was just like, man, I'm so close. I think I should have looked up the address that they fictionally have on the house and see what.
There's no way
like.
They used a real road. I can't think.
You don't think so?
Well, you know what? I think we got some research for our final 5 or 6 episodes here. Based on your driving on Woodward, would you say that it is a road and/or street, really, wherein someone could easily get into a car accident?
So it wasn't that busy when we were there, but it was also in the middle of a weekday during COVID.
It was 3 a.m. You were out late at night, kind of hit hard.
I can see there's lots of lanes, lots of traffic, people turning in, people turning out, lots of businesses right along the way. So somebody pulls up short, they don't put on their blinker maybe, and then all of a sudden you're looking away for a second. And yeah, I can see how it would happen there.
Well, you're pretty used to that Orlando traffic, which, based on what I've seen, is a real thing.
It is a real thing, but also I work remote and about 35 minutes away from Orlando, so I almost never encounter it.
Okay, interesting. The St. Cloud traffic is not a thing.
No, as much as my in-laws might say it is, it is not.
I know. There's a lot of stoplights and stuff probably because that's just how sort of suburbs are.
Stoplights are very long around here. I don't know what that's about, but
yeah, especially over by that Darryl Strawberry Rehabilitation Center. Don't tell me they changed it. I already know.
I think it's the Blackberry Rehabilitation Center now.
I'm on the mailing list, so I get all the updates.
Driving by that place, I know they don't have a mailing list.
Well, Jordan, I'm glad that, I don't know if it was a good trip to Michigan, but I'm glad you went up there and you did kind of explore at least one of the famous home improvement sites that we talked about last week.
I talked to somebody. Who did I talk to? Of course.
Tim Allen.
No, okay. I'm just saying, I saw lots of friends and family. Of course, there's people who don't know that we do this podcast, and so I was explaining to them.
Nobody could be that close to you that doesn't know that at this point. It's been so long. Right?
I mean, I saw aunts and uncles who.
Just to clarify, ANTS or AUNTS?
I definitely saw both on that trip, but I didn't talk to the insects.
Okay.
So I'm not Ant-Man.
Okay.
I'm no Paul Rudd, but yeah, there were some people I talked to about it. that either knew we were ending soon or knew we've been doing it forever, and so they had questions about what we're doing next.
Yeah.
How many episodes we have left. Why would we ever do such a thing?
Too late for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we've sunk a lot of time into it. But most people are wondering, one person did say, are you going to do Last Man Standing? I said, no.
Stop asking.
No. We did our one episode of Last Man Standing, and that's all you're going to get.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do know why people ask that, because it's Tim Allen, and it's
Sure.
in the abstract, it's a little bit like Home Improvement, but I'm not touching that show with a friggin' 10-foot pole. Did people kind of like clap you on the back and say like, "Hey, attaboy, job well done"? Really
no
worthwhile endeavor. Oh, that's true. Okay. Did people air high five you?
No.
Okay.
Elbow bump, maybe. But I did talk to someone, and we did get into a quick conversation about how we think Home Improvement ages better than people think it does, and I think that's something that we've talked about ad nauseum. So we're not going to do it again here, but just conversations you just never would expect you to be in with your wife's uncle.
Your wife's okay. Yeah, I was wondering if it was somebody that I know, and in fact, it's someone I know very well. I'm just kidding. Oh, Jordan. Well, hey, I'm sure you were itching to get back home. Strap on the old headset.
Yep.
Plug the microphone in. Prime up an episode of Home Improvement and just really get in your cozy recliner. You know.
I don't know if you watched this like in the last couple days or whatever, because you've been traveling as well.
How about the last couple of hours?
Okay, so I watched it before the vacation.
Oh
so
no, bad
we're gonna
idea.
have. I didn't have time.
Yeah.
We got in last night at like 10:30, so there wasn't gonna be time today to do it. But we'll see how. Maybe it's a memorable episode, and I'll remember everything.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if you remembered everything. But wait, did you fly up there?
Yeah.
Okay, so weird that the airplane didn't have this show streaming, this particular episode.
Frontier doesn't have anything streaming, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I couldn't download any episodes to take with me because it's not on Disney Plus.
Don't even get me started. Hulu pulls it down for no apparent reason, and then now it's just nowhere. What I got to go to CMT streaming service?
I hope they don't have that.
It's under the Peacock umbrella.
Aren't we all?
Oh man. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what episode isn't under the Peacock umbrella?
You're probably setting up this one, I guess, right? Is that what you're doing?
Episode 197.
Wow.
A hardware habit to break.
Man, we're gonna be at 200 pretty soon, and I don't know. I know I said someone that came back wasn't gonna come back again, but if 200 doesn't scream Drac, I don't know what does.
Well, I thought Drac was gonna have his own episode.
Yeah, but you've not spent any time talking to me about what you think that's gonna look like. So until we have that conversation, the Drac is back, Halloween Spooktacular. I think it's a pipe dream, Jordan.
Can we just do a reading of your book since it'll be out by then?
Oh, that would be so long. It will be out by then.
Just the first chapter or something.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, that's a good
But
idea.
you have to read it as Dracula.
See, I'd rather... You seem to be better at the audio. We reenacted that script, or just read the script, really, a couple of years ago. Reenacted. Like an old Civil War reenactment. I think you're probably better at reading that stuff than me, but that's a possibility. Drac's coming back. A lot of people have been asking. He'll be back. Don't worry. Just like Home Improvement, we're going to have all the famous guest stars come back one final time.
It's a matter of when, not if.
Right. Okay.
Just like this episode, it's a matter of when we're going to get to it, not if we're going to get to it. All
right now.
Right now. Written by John Vandergriff. This is his last episode of the series. He last did Home for the Holidays. So
he did a bunch of them, right? I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. He's a prolific Home Improvement writer. This one aired March 30th, 1998. So there was, I guess, like a 2-week spring break or something, because I feel like the last episode was early March. But nothing too fancy, no goofs, no trivia. So it's time for alternative titles.
Well, 2 goofs here hosting a podcast. I have 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. I also have 5.
Mine stink.
Mine are going to be hard because I don't remember what they're in reference to, but maybe you'll pick up on it.
Okay, go ahead.
How about too much of a good thing?
I don't know, just too much going on, I'm guessing.
Maybe too much hardware store for Tim.
It's pretty vague, but I could take some guesses. How about the Taylor Trio?
I also have a similar one. How about a tailor-made opportunity?
Spring, you're breaking my heart.
Florida feelings.
Shakespeare, oh dear.
I've probably done this one before, but threw it in there. How about Tim the Salesman Taylor?
The nail in the coffin.
Speaking of coffins, this is a reference to... I think we had a recent episode named after Mark, so coffins, Mark, they go hand in hand. So
Okay.
Marty's big break.
Here's my last one. Marty's hole.
You always do a whole one.
That's because the show talks about holes so much. I mean, I don't know how. At the end of this episode, there's a long conversation about digging holes and sticking Marty in one.
Stanley Yelnats comes up at least 3 times.
I mean, call me Zigzag because I'm digging up some holes.
Call me Zigzag. I will call you Zigzag.
I freaking love Holes. I loved Holes the book, and I love Holes the movie.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and
What's not to love?
Yeah, Henry Winkler. Anybody?
Oh man, he shows up in a lot of Hallmark movies. Do you know that?
Yeah, I feel a little bad about that. But he's on Barry on HBO, and I think he won like an Emmy or a Golden Globe. So he's back.
Hey,
You can't keep Fonz down forever.
no way, Jose.
Unless you're a shark. And he's jumping it.
I like where this episode is going.
Oh yeah, I'm real zany. Go ahead.
All right, we're gonna open at the hardware store. The gang's all there. I don't remember who the gang is at this time, but I'm sure Marty, Benny,
Harry, Benny, Tim, Al. That's it.
All right, that's the gang.
Yeah.
I would say. Tim comes in pretty amped up. He has the hot rod and he wants to race some kids outside. Probably a bad idea, but Tim, he's excited. Harry has some bad news though for Tim, and he's going to damper his spirits. He can't seem to deliver it at first, and so Benny does. And Tim faints. Poor guy. The hardware store's closing, so of course he's going to faint. Uh-oh.
Wow. What?
Our editors are
Is that your soundboard? Who's that from Home Improvement? Was that Benny? Wow.
It won't stop. It just keeps turning on.
197 episodes in, and this is the kind of amateurish stuff I got to deal with.
You know what happened?
What?
My wife...
Can you make it... Will it stop now?
I just turned off my phone.
What is that?
My wife got in the car, and my car is hooked up to the Bluetooth.
Oh.
So it was automatically going back and forth between the phone and my car.
Classic.
But yeah, that was NPR's up first, so...
Classic Bluetooth hijinks. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Keep it in. That's all right. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good. It just kept going and stopping. All right, so Tim fainted. Dolores is the problem. That's what's going to happen here. Of course she's the problem, right? Harry hates his wife. All with the misery that Dolores causes him. She wants to move to Tucson. Adam, do you know that's in Arizona?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. Was Tucson like a new city when this episode came out? I would assume everybody knew that. Tucson's pretty well known.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Harry's contemplating escaping Dolores for Vegas on the way. Mm-hmm. This is the normal Harry banter that we get here.
Yeah.
Al owns 20%, but he can't afford to buy the whole store. So he's not going to be able to buy it and keep Harry's the way it is. Marty suggests that Al turns into a gold digger, basically, and gets Trudy to buy it. Mm-hmm. Al feels uncomfortable with that, rightfully so. Tim and Al talk privately. Tim says, you know what, I'll co-sign a loan for you. Mm-hmm. Tim Taylor's rich, so that's
evidently
playing up that trope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Al says, you know what, he's got a lot up in the air. We get the first hints that Al is thinking about marrying Trudy. So this is how they've really developed that relationship.
Sucks.
Tangential.
So bad. So bad.
And you know what's going to replace Harry's?
What's that?
A nail salon.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
I mean, I was pretty happy they didn't make some nail salon joke here. So I guess that's pretty good. I mean,
guess.
they made some joke, but it could have been worse type of thing.
Sure, yeah, I guess.
So
Yeah, it's so ironic. The only funny thing in this first scene is when Tim says that a nail salon must be the work of Satan.
yeah, I laughed.
It's so hyperbolic. It was
Must
funny.
be the work of the devil.
Yeah. Dolores' asthma, I don't know if we mentioned that, but that's why they're moving. Because her asthma in Michigan is really good, but if you move to Arizona, it's going to be better. Do I not understand asthma?
I think so.
That I don't understand it, or does the show not? What's the difference?
Well, there's lots of different. Like,
It's a nuanced thing. I'm guessing you have asthma as a guy that seems to have most.
I mean, you've seen me take my inhaler.
There you
correct?
go. Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had that on me at all times. I will say my wife doesn't have asthma, but the cold of Michigan really does mess with her lungs. So
Really?
that's something.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'm not buying it, but that's all right. I'm not buying your wife's lungs specifically. Home. Brad, he's looking to go to Florida for spring break. Get a little wet and wild, if you know what I mean.
He really is looking to go wet and wild.
He needs his parents to agree. Jill walks in, and she immediately knows kind of where he's going with it because she got a call from his travel agent.
That made me laugh out loud, actually.
That's funny. Tim comes home and gives the sad news about Harry's. They talk about the demise of small businesses, and Jordan, I want to talk about something that I was down visiting my sister in D.C. and we were walking by a Barnes and Noble, and I was talking about how in the beginning when these Barnes and Noble places opened up, it was like, oh, the demise of the small bookstore, how sad. And now because of Amazon, I look at a Barnes and Noble as like the small bookseller that I'm like rooting for because now compared to Amazon, they are sort of quaint and small. And it's just funny how that's worked, Jordan. That's all.
The evolution of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. It depends on where you're at. We even noticed that when we were in Ferndale, like that is like all small businesses, which is interesting.
That's good.
And then where we are is a little bit kind of, I would say, half and half.
Based on your brother's Twitter, I guess it's all bikes too.
He wishes.
I don't know what that guy's deal is, man. He loves bikes.
He's an urban planner. What do you expect?
More planning, less bike talk, I guess. I don't know. That would be kind of my first advice for him.
He's trying to get some bike lanes planned.
All right. It's starting to make more sense. Okay, I'll keep going. Tim, we finally are getting where we always know it's going to go, and that's Tim kind of wants to take over. He could do it. He's a great salesman. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I'm jumping ahead. He wants to take over. Jill kind of says no, but Tim says, I'm a great salesman. I used to do it. I can sell the idea of the store to people, get someone else to buy it. That way it doesn't go out of business, and I don't necessarily have to take it over. So his big idea is, like, essentially what seemed to me would be, like, one of those, like, pure romance kind of parties. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same idea.
You soften up the buyers, you throw a party, everybody's feeling good, and then you present the idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other comparable. Have you ever been to anything like that? One of those parties? I mean, not pure romance because that's not for. I don't think that's for men, or maybe it is. I don't know. But have you ever been to any kind of party like that?
Where they're trying to soften you up to buy something?
Yeah.
I mean, it strikes of like, how if they're trying to sell you a timeshare.
Ding. Okay,
yeah,
I've been to stuff like that with my parents.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been to anything, I think, myself, but yeah, I mean, we've heard of these types of things, and it's just like a political fundraiser type of thing as well, right? That's the same type of idea.
Yeah.
What did you think about the joke that Jill's excited to save money so Mark can go to college now?
That's like 4 years away based on what the show is saying.
Well, they're going to be saving apparently like $25,000 a year.
Evidently, that's pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. Their money stuff is just kind of, at this point, it's sort of whatever. I guess they're millionaires apparently because they don't ever have. There's no consequences for any purchases. They don't have to worry about anything. So
that's true.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know.
I mean, throwing that big party, they must have went through some expense.
Yeah, people are getting pretty liquored up, which you don't see a ton of on Home Improvement.
No.
Yeah.
No. I can't wait to see. We're going to talk about Eddie in a second here because it's party time.
Yeah.
Al and Harry are excited to turn out. So there's people mingling all over the place. We're going to have a real who's who. So we've got
sort of.
I guess so.
I mean, ish.
Who's still around, I guess, at this point.
Who was available that day, I'm guessing? I don't know. Yeah.
So you got Rock from the K&B Boys. You got Sparky. You've got Eddie, the mechanic. Who else was there? Was there anybody else? I mean Dolores
there
and
was
Harry,
people
obviously, now.
There's people I didn't recognize.
Sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that weren't there that I want to talk about later. Man, it looked like Rock aged like 30 years since his last appearance. When did he become an old man?
It's because he doesn't have a hard hat on and his attire. We're used to seeing him in that construction outfit, so I agree. He did look out of place. And when he starts talking, he sounds out of place because he's interested in...
All that stuff hit a little too close to home with what's going on in Michigan and the Midwest and stuff. Good God.
I mean, before I get there, I guess, we see Eddie being a pervert. And Tim is basically whoring out his wife a little bit, to flirt a little bit.
Boy, you put it so subtly there. Yes, whoring her out. He's just dangling. He's kind of testing the water, seeing, what Eddie might be interested in, what Jill's willing to do. Before that, though, Rock gives a line, and this is something I used to hear you say a lot in high school, where Tim goes up to Rock and says, "Rock, what are you drinking?" And Rock says, "What aren't I drinking?"
Hey.
Ba-ba-booyah!
Rock has some interesting lines this episode. So everyone's gathered around. Tim's going to make a little speech. And he almost dives right into what he's doing. But I think Sparky mentions like how nice it is for just people to get together and have a good time. Usually when he's at something like this, people are trying to sell him something. So Tim kind of has to go a little bit under the radar. And so he says, "We're going to celebrate America." Rock is interested. And then Rock is like, Timmy, if this is something about joining like a secret militia, I'm all in. So that's...
Who do you think Rock voted for in 2016?
I can't guess who.
Lord.
And then he talks about like guns later. He's like, "I got the guns" or whatever.
It made me glad that we really only see Rock on Tool Time singing, because I'm not sure I want any more of this kind of guy on the show.
Tim eventually, I thought this was not a nice touch, but it probably got Rock pretty excited. They break the news about Harry's Hardware as Tim is like handing out little American flags. Mm-hmm. And Tim eventually makes the pitch, and no one jumps at the pitch. This is not going at all like Tim had planned. And everyone has good reasons for not jumping at the pitch. They say you can't compete with the discount stores, and then they turn it around on Tim and say, "If you love this so much and you think it's a good idea, why don't you buy it, Tim?" Basically, they attack his manhood, and he says, "Cool, I'll do it." And
that
Jill's
is the
not
best
happy.
way to get what you want, is to question someone's manhood. I mean, that's how I got you to start this podcast.
And how you got me to keep it going.
That's right. I liked Sparky's kind of like a trophy wife, young buxom girlfriend. I don't know. I thought that was kind of a funny touch. They don't even really comment on it, but he's got this like 25-year-old like blonde girl just kind of on his arm. Kind of funny.
Saginaw cheese. Cheese, it's good.
Yes, I mean he's a cheese magnate. What do you expect? Other than that, I liked how they didn't even bother inviting Marty to this gathering because they know he has no money, no outlook, no prospects, so he can't even be there. Even
Also,
though
he still lives in the
still
same
lives
house.
in the house.
So he's upstairs, presumably. Like
he's like the little kid upstairs that like isn't allowed to watch the movie, so he's like putting his ears like behind the stairs. Okay.
Man. Yeah.
So Tim's going to buy it because he is backed into a corner and can't say no, apparently. Mm-hmm. Later at the party, Jill's mad.
Steamed.
What's the price? Harry says $80K. Dolores says, actually, you were going to take $70K from the nail salon, so Harry's trying to upcharge his friend. Nice.
He's a piece of work. Is that much for a store? I don't feel like it is, but
I have no idea. It didn't seem like a ton to me.
I mean, you could I guess you could just live there, you know?
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably do it. Seems like a good investment. I know a lot about tools. Harry says, "You know what? Just do it. I'll carry the loan. Try it, and if it doesn't work, you can bail, and I'll sell it anyways. So it's no big deal. Kind of skip all the paperwork, all the formalities, all the things that kind of save yourself if things go wrong." Tim says, "Hey, I got a loser brother with no prospects. He'll definitely help out. He needs a job."
Yeah.
Eddie continues to check out Jill from behind, and
he's a real weasel.
He's he likes what he's seeing. He's a looking and he's a liking. and that's really it.
And he's winking or doing some other gross stuff.
Oh,
so.
a lot of stuff, yeah. Typical Eddie sort of stuff. Yeah.
It's about time we found a place for Marty to go long term, so.
Besides the Chew Toy Factory?
I mean, until he's at the zoo cleaning up something or whatever. I don't know what else he does.
The penguins or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we go to the store. So apparently transaction has happened.
Okay,
I
gotta stop you because this starts out with a really weird thing, and maybe you don't remember, you didn't notice. Okay, so the start of the scene, and it's just like everybody in the hardware store doing their thing, but there's like a graphic, like a thought bubble above Benny, and it's like a pink frosted donut in his head, like a computer graphic.
I think I did remember that.
Super weird that they would do that to start a scene. That's the kind of stuff they usually do to end a scene, but I don't know, that struck me as an interesting creative flourish.
Vandergriff, it's his last episode.
He's always wanted to do that.
You can't hold anything back now, Vandergriff.
Wow. Yeah, that was always his dream. It was nice he was able to do it. Sorry, go ahead. Just really struck me as being odd.
Oh, that was a great call out. So Marty is in there, and he presumably is managing the store now, and he's interacting with a customer. Things really devolve quite quickly, and he blows the sale as Tim comes in. Tim obviously not pleased with this. Al and Tim are not having much success with the new store as it's changed hands, and Benny knows why. Surprise, surprise. Harry had a relationship with these people, and you don't. It's easier to switch, go to the the big box stores. And he's actually done the same. So Benny's the worst type of friend, of course. Wilson comes in. Marty, Marty continues his terrible salesmanship, and he just turns Wilson to the competition, even though Wilson is like, no, I prefer personal service here. And he proceeds to give some advice that Harry would do anything for a customer, basically, and his customers knew it. And so Tim and Marty brainstorming about what they can do to match Harry's prolific managerial skills, I guess you could say. Marty thinks very small. This actually I thought was pretty funny. I don't remember what he said exactly, but it was something you would do as an 8-year-old, right?
Let's flyer the neighborhood, get on our bikes or something like that.
Tim mocks him, makes a little kid voice, and goes on a rant. It's one of those rants that Tim does that you can tell that he probably wrote, but all the other ones I thought weren't funny at all, and this one was at least pretty funny. So
I wonder, did he write it or did he just kind of make it up on the spot? But
sure.
It definitely felt true to his voice. That's for sure, one way or another.
Yeah.
A couple of things here. Devil's advocate. Okay, Marty's obviously bad at selling. Doesn't seem to get it.
Sure.
But this customer is a real pain. I don't know. What do you want me? This guy's in here prices aren't as good here as somewhere else as the big box store. Okay, what do you want me to say? Yeah, well, it's a fact. It's a small business.
A lot of places just match, It's not always about the one sale, Adam. It's about the lifetime value of that customer.
I'm just saying, this guy was a real pain.
Adam, just give him the pickle.
Oh my gosh, I listened back to the episodes, of course, after just to. I actually don't know why I do it at this point, just because I guess I've always done it. And I thought, okay, maybe this pickle thing's going to make more sense the second time around. And I'm telling you, that's the stupidest advice you ever got. It's a wonder you've ended up making anything of yourself with that sort of being that's sort of been your credo for so long.
My credo for so long.
You've become a real success.
Okay. I've got a bumper sticker, and I get some weird honks.
Yeah, especially at Woodward. Okay, what was the other thing I was going to say? I think I lost it. Oh, this sort of revelation. Okay, Wilson comes in and kind of does his fence scene in here, and it's a decent use of Wilson, something different. But this sort of revelation, Wilson is telling these guys something that they shouldn't or didn't already know. That was kind of a tough pill to swallow. Oh yeah, Harry is as good because he gives good customer service and he's more personal than the big box stores. Yeah, no shit. What's the big discovery there? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not revolutionary business.
No, that would, if you're operating a small business, I would think that would sort of be the innate thing you would sort of know and understand right away.
I mean, I expect it out of Marty because, like, they've portrayed this character as inept in basically every way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Tim as, like, the consummate salesman and the showman, I'm a bit surprised that that's there.
right.
Side note, Adam, I just Googled just give him the pickle, and I've got a video for you to watch later and a website for you to look at. So
Look, if it's gonna mess up my pop-ups and clear
you know,
clear my
it's
browser
not
history,
anything. It's not anything worse than like
Okay.
what we've done before.
then like you won't believe what JTT looks like now. The
Yes.
real reason JTT wasn't allowed to make movies, those kind of things. All right, I will definitely not watch that video. Tool time. We get the thing that they do sometimes where they cut in media res, as they say, sort of in the middle of something happening. Water's flammable. You know, that was sort of what they were showing with that, and we see the aftermath of something being very charred. Cutting over to a commercial, they got to sprint over to the new shot as they are wont to do. This is a commercial for Harry's Hardware on Tool Time. Is this ethical? I guess if they said it was okay, it's okay.
I mean, it's a commercial, so I suppose Tim probably has to pay for this, but I don't know.
Well, let's see that as a scene. Let's see him and Bud working it out. Okay, so the commercial, they're talking about Harry's, but they've got some new things they're bringing to the table. The first one is a bad idea, and that's the video tool library, which they don't really explain, but I'm guessing is just Tool Time episodes on tape that sort of explain common hardware jobs that people might be doing, and they can take the tapes home with them. Is that your
Yeah,
understanding?
I thought it would be like a YouTube for like how to, like, so how to landscape your front yard,
Okay.
and then they have them doing it. So I
So
don't know.
did they make all these videos, or did they just is this just stuff they did on Tool Time?
I don't know. It does seem like a lot of work ahead of time because somebody's got to cut and edit. I don't know that it's a bad idea, but it's also just like nowadays, like obviously it's a very outdated way to do it. So.
Second idea is the 24-hour tool line. You know, you got a question, you got a problem, you need help, call Tim and Alan, their new cell phones, and they'll help you. The tool line in and of itself, good idea. 24 hours, you know, I know it's supposed to be shocking and get your attention and stuff, but what were these guys thinking? The scene does end in a funny way where Al's mother calls, and I actually, for the mother stuff, that was not a bad kind of joke. So
Yeah, she's concerned about Al and conflicting opportunities or time to spend it with the mom. Yeah, that was pretty funny for the mom's joke stuff.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, next scene.
I can keep going. That was pretty short.
These are pretty short scenes
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna go all the way through till we're home at the end. Tim's fielding calls at home. He's very, very busy. So busy he can't really pay attention to what the boys are watching. Brad wants to rent something on pay-per-view. And I think it's that pickle movie you were talking about earlier. No, it's called, this is 1998, so we're parodying Shakespeare in Love with Shakespeare in Lust. So Brad and Mark want to rent a porno just right out in the living room. They do.
Pretty tame title, I guess.
Yeah. Jill comes in and sees what the boys are watching, and she says, Tim, you're pretty busy. That's about it.
Well, no, Tim says, okay, last scene, guys.
Last scene, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Waste of money. Tool Time, new show. Heidi comes out, does her usual introduction, but when Tim is announced to come out, he doesn't. And she has to call him several times, and we cut backstage, and Tim and Al are so busy with this 24-hour tool line, they can't even come out for the show. Man, this tool line's been a real success, Jordan.
Except for it's all free.
Yeah, that's true. But it's, people are really interested in that.
Nowadays, this
Oh my
would be
gosh.
like a subscription, you know? Like you have to pay $9.99 a month or whatever to get this type of service, and you'd be doing it for your whole life.
I guess probably.
Yeah.
Tim and Al would set up a Patreon with their tool videos. Jordan, take it away with this kind of vexing scene from my perspective.
Well, let's talk about it, and we'll talk about why it's vexing.
Okay.
Jill, Tim, bedroom. Jill, horny. Phone ring.
I love how
Phone
you're
rings.
breaking this
Block
down.
toilet. Turns off Jill. Do you like
Yeah.
how I'm doing this?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's sexy. Yeah.
Business is ruining your whole life, Jill says. Tim is bummed because it's working. Like, they're getting more customers. They're getting more loyal customers. But yeah, Tim is also having second thoughts here. So, I don't know. I guess he's thinking about calling it quits. I don't really know what the whole point of it is.
You want to know this is vexing in so much as, I'm with you. I'm with the scene, and Jill's turned on. She wants to have sex. She's like straddling him. Gets a call. Tim takes it. Clogged toilet. Not very sexy. Okay, got it. Jill's mad because the new hardware is ruining their sex life, and it's making Tim a lot busier than anybody thought. Mind you, he's maybe been at this, I don't know, I'm guessing no more than a couple of weeks, but Jill says it's ruining your whole life and it's ruining my whole life. I mean, I know she wasn't necessarily behind the idea from the get-go, but there's not a lot of resolve in this from Tim or Jill. They're both just kind of like, well, I guess we can't have sex as much. This thing is not working. I don't know. I just feel like she should be a little more patient.
Given more examples of what's happening.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah. If this is the only okay.
Well,
So
I guess there's the scene before this. The example of tool time is a problem. Tim letting the boys watch porn is a proxy for not spending time with the boys. So I guess there are, but yeah, this is the big thing that pushes them over the edge.
Yeah, it just seemed a little convenient, little too. I know they're running out of time in this episode, but I don't know, that Jill's frustrated that they can't have sex, and thus, this new store is really taking over your life. I think you should sell it. It's like, well, why did we bother doing this in the first place then? But Tim's gonna sleep on it, and just when Jill thinks he might be back in the mood for some sex, he says, "I'm gonna go wax the hot rod." Yeah,
Tim.
Oh, Tim. Tim.
At the store. Business is going great. Tim comes in, and he's going to do the unthinkable and sell the business.
What?
But Jeff Taylor comes out from the back. He's looking at the books. Did we know that Jeff was an accountant?
I can't say.
I thought he was a serial entrepreneur. So
Yes.
perhaps he's done his own books, which presumably have gone terribly, but
Yes.
this scene would have you think otherwise.
Yeah, okay. With you so far. I got a lot to say on Jeff at the end of the scene, so
All
you better,
right.
you better
Well,
yeah.
Basically, the last week in the books have been the best of the whole year, which I guess if you think about it was only in March, so not that long. But
You're right, that is funny. the best week of 12 weeks out of the year or whatever,
yeah, he's trying to be optimistic. Tim explains, why he wants to sell. Kind of an interesting callback here. Jeff says thanks for helping me with that toilet clog, so he was the one who was calling the hotline
that's
yesterday.
pretty funny actually.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Jeff is interested after looking at the books and seeing the booming business of taking a little bit of ownership in this and joining the team, the Taylor team. They once dug a hole in the backyard and stuck Marty in it.
Yeah, Marty's hole.
Marty's hole, and now they're going to turn their sights to this store, conquering the store, but also, you always need someone to pick on, and they know exactly who to pick on, and they all look at Al.
This is akin to the Wanna Go Moon Borland from last week's episode.
Yeah, poor Al.
You want to dig a big hole and put Al in it? I don't know. This is weird. All right, so I'm watching this scene, and I see Marty show up, and I'm like, oh, Marty. I'm watching the scene, and I see Jeff show up. Marty's already there, and I say, oh, Jeff. I got Jeff and Marty. And then all of a sudden, Jeff comes in, and I'm asking myself, is Jeff cool? Jeff seems kind of cool here. It really answered the Jeff versus Marty question, because you see them together in this scene, and it's obvious who the cool one is. It's Jeff.
Yeah, I think maybe since he started dating Carrie, he's got a newfound confidence, and it's
he did
working
seem
for him.
very confident. Yeah.
How Jeff got his groove back?
For an absolute failure, an abject failure, Jeff seemed very confident, which, hey, we could all learn from. Marty's not confident. He shouldn't be. But, Jeff comes in and just kind of totally takes things over.
Fake it till you make it type of thing, huh?
Yeah, and Jeff is faking and making in this scene.
All right. Interesting. You want to take the last scene?
Well, I got some more Jeffs now. I'm just kidding. No. Home. Brad continues to want to go to Florida. He's talking to Mark, and I guess Jill is there too. He's kind of... Is Jill there or not?
Yeah, Jill is there.
Okay, so he's talking third. He's like, hey, it's going to be great. There's a bunch of chaperones coming. It's going to be very supervised. We're not going to be able to go anywhere or do anything without chaperones knowing. And Mark's like, why do you want to go anyways? If that's the case, and Brad says, I guess I don't want to go. Roll credits, fade to black, a hardware habit to break, a.k.a. Marty's hole.
Adam, there's a new hardware store right by Castle's Corner. You want to take a visit with me and see what it's like?
I heard it's for sale. I know you got $80K burning a hole in your pocket.
I sure do, and this seems like a great investment. All right, let's talk about a hardware habit to break in totality. Highs and lows. Adam, why don't you go first?
Okay. Man, I really don't know how I feel about this one, so I'm just going to talk through it.
That Jeff moment really threw you off.
Okay. Lows. I honestly don't ever really like the Du Bois and the hardware scenes kind of bantering. I always just think they're pretty stupid. Like, I don't know, that humor doesn't really work for me. So the opening scene was not a big fan of, although the nail salon work of Satan line was funny. Other lows. I mean, Rock at the party, I don't know, we're hitting whatever that is a little bit too hard. Beyond that, I'm trying to think of other lows I didn't really like.
Eddie is a low life. How about that?
Yeah, sure, right, yeah, totally. Jill, the lack of resilience with Jill and Tim, just kind of being ready to give up on the whole idea because their life has been temporarily sort of, I don't know, their life has changed because Tim took on a new business, which is like, yeah, of course that was going to happen. And then Jill just kind of being like, well, we can't have sex, I guess you should probably sell this, was a little bit silly. But I like I said, we're running out of time in this episode, so I guess we just got to get there and sort of give Tim the decision that he's going to need to make at some point or another. So that scene felt a little bit false to me and a little convenient. And like, I don't know, this put Al in a hole as kind of the closing. I don't know. It was weird. Highs. Jeff was pretty cool when he came in. Obviously, I like that scene. Jeff just came in and kind of took over. The party in and of itself, enjoyable. Some pretty good jokes there. The boys running porno. Sure, why not? I get, they haven't done this before. It's an interesting idea. It's sort of head-scratching how often Tim is presented with these kind of, like, possible investments or whatever. I feel like every other episode, Tim is like, should I buy this? Should I do this? Like,
should I move to Upper Michigan?
This life-altering decision that's been presented to me. I mean, I know that we were all presented with difficult choices, but it's sort of happened at a staggering nature these last two seasons. In summation, it's a pretty good episode, I guess, slightly better than average. I laughed. I wasn't bored. You get some interesting people coming in and out. Something new. Nothing I can think of that I really, really disliked. So that's that.
That's probably about right. Nothing that you really, really dislike. I thought also, just in addition to what you said, when Tim is like mocking Marty with the little kid voice, that was pretty funny as well. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad episode. It's not like super memorable or anything, but it was a good watch. So we'll take it. We'll take what we can get in season 8.
Yes, we will.
All right. If you want to reach out to us, go to thehomeandpodcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, all the good stuff. We're on YouTube, patreon.com/homeandpodcast. It would be funny if someone decided to become a patron for like 2 months, but you can.
It'll open the vault. We're gonna do one more Joe Somebody episode sometime soon.
You could get a free sticker included with that. All sorts of other good stuff. So, patreon.com/homeandpodcast. Adam, it's been a while since we talked, so I presume you've been doing some things on Twitter.
Not a ton, because I've been away and I've been busy, but I do have a couple polls. So
you're in the mountains, so you can't do.
That's
polls.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite parent? 45 total votes. The options are Tim's mother, Lucy, Jill's mother, Lillian, the Colonel, or Tim's dad in that flashback. All right, any predictions for who won this one?
It's got to be one of the moms. It's got to be one of them.
All right. 20% said Tim's dad in flashback. 20% said Tim's mother, Lucy.
Wow.
24.4% said the Colonel, and 35.6% said Jill's mother, Lillian. I ultimately think that is the right answer, but you could have gone either her or the Colonel. So, yeah.
And what a package deal.
I know. Hey, that's a power couple. Griffin Holloway said Al's mom. I guess that would have been kind of funny. That would probably been better than Tim's dad in flashback, to be honest. But didn't think of it.
Hindsight.
It's funny that Tim's dad in flashback got any votes. Perhaps we're getting trolled, as the kids say. So that's one. What else we got? Another poll. This one is pretty meat and potatoes. I did it as I was driving through North Carolina, so forgive me for a lack of creativity. Do you get along with your neighbors? Last week's episode was conflict, so I had to ask.
Be careful what you're tweeting here, because your neighbor might be able to see it.
That's true. 33 total votes. It actually isn't done yet, but I'm going to call it. 17 hours left. 15.2% said no. 84.8% said yes. Benjamin Pope said, they're not quite as odd as Wilson, but yes. What does that mean?
So he'd like them to be more odd.
I'm confused by that. Okay. I'm actually confused by this comment, too. Jesus says, sometimes we need special neighbors like the Freelings.
Oh, well, that was probably their neighbor. Isn't that nice?
Oh, okay. That does make sense. Well, if that is the case, then I of course like that.
Sometimes you need two eyes on something, you know?
Yeah, because I thought it was feelings or something. Okay. That's it. That's all I really got. I haven't done a lot on Twitter lately, so, yeah.
Wrapping up the podcast, wrapping up the social media.
Jordan, I've been away, for crying out loud. What do you want from me?
What, you didn't schedule any tweets?
No, I don't like that. Seems like that's just more. You can't do polls, and polls are our bread and butter. So if you can't schedule polls,
if
then
you can't do polls, then what's the point?
That's kind of what I've been trying to say.
Twitter, we're calling you out.
Yeah, and Twitter. I'm ready to get off of it, as you know. But yeah, anything else we need to cover? It's maybe kind of a short one, but we did our best.
I don't know what your obsession is.
You know I like to hit 50 minutes.
I do not know or understand your obsession for 50 minutes, but we can talk. I mean, do you want to talk about your book yet? Do you want to talk about what else is going on home improvement wise? Probably nothing.
We're winding it down here. I'm going to try to post kind of a final schedule on Twitter here in the next week or so, just because we are going to combine a couple, and maybe we're going to do that spooktacular. Jordan, we need to have a conversation about that. If you actually want to do it, if you just thought it was funny to put in a doc, why don't you go ahead and decide that next couple days?
I like that it's caused so much consternation for you.
Well, I just want to know. I want to know what I'm getting into.
Well, you got to know if you can get Drac or not. So,
I can get him. I think. But do we want him for a full 40 minutes? Is that something that we could even really do? Those are conversations that need to be had.
Yeah, maybe that's a whole episode of just the various voices that we do, huh?
That sounds terrible
Awful.
For us and terrible for listeners.
Although downloads have been popping up recently, so maybe they'd like it.
Downloads. It's been a good couple months for downloads. That people know we're going off the air. One thing I'm going to start putting a call out for now until we're done is, for the final episode, we're going to kind of want to, wrap a bow on everything, series in summation, in addition to a season in summation. So if there's any kind of questions people want answered, any kind of lists, any kind of countdowns, really anything you want us to discuss about the show Home Improvement that we have not discussed over 205 episodes, please let us know. I mean, I'm going to come up with some stuff. Jordan's probably going to come up with some stuff too if I force him to. And we're just going to kind of leave everything on the table. So if you have, like I said, questions, countdowns, lists, things you want to share.
Now's the time to start getting those into us, because once the podcast is over, you're not going to be responding to stuff on Twitter. We're not going to be popping up with this episode that, whatever,
Favorite memories, really anything you want to talk to us about. Twitter is good. You can tweet at us, send us a Twitter message, email homepodcast@gmail.com, YouTube, I guess, sure, I don't care. Any way you can get anything to us, go ahead and do so, because we're gonna be done, and I'm not gonna be doing countdowns and lists and answering home improvement questions a ton.
It's gonna be a pretty clean break
throughout the future of my life. So yeah. I'm just going to keep saying that over the next couple of weeks. So start thinking about that. Long-time listeners, new listeners. That's that.
I would say so. We did get a...
your mom, right?
Yeah, she did let us know that...
I thought about this after the fact. She was right to say this. Yeah.
So we were talking about... to circle back, we were talking about, guests that we've had on the podcast, specifically women, and we neglected to mention that both of our moms were on an episode.
Yeah, and isn't that just so a child to just forget about their mother and their father and not show enough gratitude. So I can only speak on behalf of myself. I'm very sorry, Mom, to have forgotten you. I know you're not listening because you don't listen unless you're on the show, but I am sorry to have forgotten you.
Adam, I was so sorry I went to Michigan.
You had to apologize
in person.
That's good of you. Anything else? What do we cover next week?
Next week, we're getting down to like maybe 5 episodes left or so, 5 or 6. Loose lips and Freudian slips.
Hell of a title.
It's gonna be a good one.
All right. Well, hey, it's Jordan. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, listeners. Thank you for listening, and I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.